Claudio's and Eric's characters, gasping in shock at the spectacle of what has just occurred. Right? And so, Eric, since you're the one keeping an eye on things, the various remember the weird way that the lepers moved and like they were all touching each other and pressing past one another and giving way to another one and stuff like that? There is literally a human wave of such activity directed at you guys from the walls. They are all crying out in joy and are eager to seize your cleric and to make her flesh as one with theirs.
Am I still getting bit by that snake?
Let's see. Yes, because it spawns new ones. It's not just with a little ability. It got projectile attacks and the ability to spawn new creatures. And I decided to combine those because who can't love a snake who shoots snakes? So
yeah.
And so therefore, yes, you may want to dispose of this animal, which is also kind of a demon and other stuff.
That's what I would try to do if this is my initiative count.
It is.
And I guess I'm not that worried about the massive people going for our cleric, because I'm kind of focused on, let's say the intimate range of action.
Roll a hit, please.
Yeah. So what I do, I drop my spear and I try to wrestle the snake and throw it away.
Excellent. Roll a hit.
I'll roll a hit. And what the hell is this? Combat.
You guys are all familiar, I'm sure, with the incredibly intricate and both simultaneously intricate and slapdash rules for unarmed combat in many of these games. So let's see. I remember there was something about that. There we are.
Okay. These ones seem pretty simple, actually.
Yeah, okay. This is effectively wrestling them. So you got your hands free. You have not yet acted. Make an attack against the aggressor. A contested roll. Awesome. Okay. So what did you roll with your bonus, your attack bonus?
17 plus 3, so the total is 20.
You guys, not one of you has rolled.
I swear to God, this is an actual roll.
No, I believe you.
I have the die right here.
I have rolled a 14, and it's bonus to hit. Where did it go? Right. So your total was 20 or something, right?
Yes.
So therefore, its total is 17. The winner decides whether the loser is immobilized, or in which this case would mean you're able to fling them away.
I just throw them back into the pit.
Right.
Throw it back into the pit.
So there you go. Okay, good enough. So that's your go. Eric, you see these guys swarming toward everybody. What are you going to do? Or swarming toward her?
Protect me, please.
Sorry, I guess my best thing would be to get close with her and come between her and anyone attempting to touch her or strike her.
Will you be attacking that person?
Yes.
Please roll a hit. Now, they are attempting to hit you as well, but you have, I believe, a substantial defensive bonus because of your stance. And even a very good roll on their part does not get through to you.
I rolled a 12. There's a penalty for having been in a defensive stance but then striking. However, I also have a strong attack bonus, so the roll just stays as it is. I rolled a 12.
And the armor class is 11. So therefore, you have hit them. And this is basically a very impressive move. I know I like describing you guys as very competent, but with all the things going on in the system, it seems perfectly reasonable. If you're in that defensive stance, and as the roll turned out, it was the defensive stance that saved you from being hit. So we can ascribe this to some fucking good sword work on your part, is what we can do, right? So,
I didn't trip over my own feet this time.
no,
with
not
my
even
turn.
a little. Not even a little. This is one of these sort of, the perfect sword counter to grabby person, right? If you put the sword here and you flip it this way, and their hands are thrown, all over the place, and then you do a follow-up blow of some kind. And so, what is your damage?
Only a 3.
Okay. So that's actually, since they have 3 hit points apiece, that is perfectly good to simply cut open this person's chest, and they will, as you have seen them do before, die fairly quickly and painfully. So that is our situation. Before, we could just keep going down the actions in order, but this is a moment when I'd like to ask you guys, what do you want or will you do more collectively? I mean, I'm going to just say that you guys have a breather for a second. All 5 of you can look back and forth and look at each other and get some sense of, I'll make it clear. Do you want to beat a hasty retreat out of the House of Wisdom and its remains for the moment? Do you want to jump down into the well? Do you want to deal with the remainder of the squirming, reaching, bacterium-laden lepers, or do you want to go and, for example, try to engage in some sort of friendly activity with the fanatic Shia horsemen? I'm kidding.
Well, the question I barked to my colleagues is, do we press forward or retreat? I really want to know how committed you guys are.
Exactly.
Really, if we keep going, let's keep going whatever you decide. But if we're pulling out, we all pull out. But I really want to know.
I would like to know what Lorenzo says at this point.
So, the snake-like creature, is it dead, or did it slither back into its hole?
Tomato.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take that answer.
Ibars, what is it you want to do in response to what Tarhoon says?
I'm just going deeper and deeper into the pit.
Ooh,
I don't care about the others.
Okay. Out of just on that cue, I'll just shift over to Sean, who was making down the pit noises and faces at me. Yeah, that's
absolutely
right. Okay.
Yeah. I thought you yell out everything we want is down in this pit.
Right. So, much to Tarhoon's dismay, 2 of them say, "What?" and hop down in.
I was already down in the pit.
Decided. Okay, I'll follow.
All right then. So that's 3 of you, that's actually quite amusing. Lorenzo, what does he tell us?
And so he asked if the snake thing is dead, and I already asked that question, and
I just asked yes to answer.
Okay. So while we're waiting, that leads us to Claudio.
Yeah, so I'm a bit hesitant, but when I see 3 of my, I guess, teammates or whatever they are,
The closest you got around here, buddy.
Yeah, three of the people that are not trying to kill me going into the pit. I'm like, well, I can stay here and die, or I can follow them. So I guess we're going into the pit.
So, Greg?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to the mob, but now I don't. I'm just gonna go in the pit, I think.
Do you mind me doing a little narrating, which is kind of fun? We have a certain amount of eagerness on the part of Ibars and Sean's characters, and then we also have a certain, shall we say, resignation, or I guess this is what we're doing on the part of our 2 other characters. And I just love the idea of Greg's character walking with a certain dignity.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, this is where I go next. Everybody else is kind of in action mode, and she just walks down with a certain kind of purpose. Just like that was like ringing the doorbell. Now we walk down.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of my take on that situation. And see if Lorenzo has any further.
Lorenzo said PDTs then, I think.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
I think you saw me hesitate just a few seconds, and then took my dignity stance.
Excellent. All right. Well, as you can see, we have conducted a bit of mayhem, and we could play for 7 hours further, but I will go, and I would love to share with you my atmospheric depiction of what it's like to descend down there. But for purposes of our game, I'm going to do a couple of things. I will move very quickly to allow you guys the leeway. Greg, am I under the impression that you were planning on casting divination as quickly as possible?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm going to say that you have descended into a place that once was quite holy. Quite a place of that there is the historical remnant of a holy place here. And while it would be proper to play more naturalistically, but for my purposes, I'd really like to see what happens when you try your divination.
Me too.
Can I ask a question first? Yeah. We descended into this pit.
Right.
But last time, if I remember correctly, and I might be wrong, you said that the pit looked like it was an old and man-made, right?
Yeah,
so
it's much
like cylindrical.
It's much more than a pit. This is actually a chamber.
Right, exactly. So
an actual, there are actual. As soon as you get further down, you realize that there are platforms and stairs.
Exactly. So that my question: we descend through some sort of stair.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
The whole works. The whole. I mean, I'm to bluntly, I am using the map of a small tower, but it's not a tower. It's actually a pit. Okay. So, so let's just do a quick hard cut, which I ordinarily wouldn't do in a game like this, which basically shows everybody kind of bandaging up and trying to take stock and, lantern light. And you've come to the point where you have, in fact, realized that there could you've broken into the portion where there are things that have been undisturbed that were probably hidden here when the Mongols invaded. So far, so good?
Yes.
Okay, Ibars, yep. I assume you're leading the way on this kind of, and I think the treasure is around here sort of activity, right?
Yes, exactly. And I'm trying to hold down the priestess in order for her not to shoot anyone.
Ah, there you go. You and your shootiness, right? So, and so therefore, let's have. Therefore. That enough time has passed and you're in a holy place where you can get the spell divination if you want to, by basically going into deep meditation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing this, and my meditation is like some Sufi strange things. Like I'm maybe turning on myself and finding ecstasis.
Yeah, that's the one that most people would recognize. So good enough, and and the rest of you are kind of like, that's not how they did it at the mosque and church back home. Therefore, let's cast divination.
I don't even explain what I'm doing.
Of course not.
I just turn on myself.
Perfect.